Hello everyone, this is Leonard here with MusicSoftwareDeals.com, and today I'll be doing a comparison video between Wave's newest plugin called Curves Resolve and their plugin called Curves Equator, which came out about a year and a half ago now or so. I see a lot of talk on the internet about how if you own Curves Equator, you can essentially do the same thing that Curves Resolve does, which is it's really a tool to help with ducking and unmasking frequencies of two sources that might have specific frequencies that clash with each other, like voice and vocal and instruments, or a kick and bass, things like that. So I'm here to actually demonstrate why I think Curves Resolve does actually a much better job in unmasking frequencies between two different sources. Yeah, I want to show that and demonstrate that with different material. So let's get right into it. So I have here just a kick and snare. Drums and bass, and I want to just start with the classic ducking example of bass getting out of the way of a kick drum pumping through. So let's first do that with Curves Equator. So let me show you the process here. I'm just going to first do, for every DAW, you import the sidechain channel differently, but with Logic, you can see here I already set it up to where you choose your instrument channel. I chose drums, and that's what we have here. So now, as I play the drums and bass, I will click the Learn button here, and Curves Equator will learn what the frequency curve is of the drums. So let's start with there. Let me turn on the sidechain learn here. Okay. Might help to turn it on. Okay, so you see learning successful. So this is the frequency curve of the drums, and I'm going to click the writer here, which once you turn that on, this is the curve again that will of the frequencies that will be taken away for the bass channel. And let's hear how that works now. So you can hear as I lower that, you could hear the bass being the low end of the bass being taken away. I'm just going to solo the bass so you could hear it a little bit better. So here as it's there, as I lower this, it takes it away. Now, what's interesting is even with this attack and release set pretty quick, I'm going to just turn them all the way to 0. So you technically should be able to hear the pumping of the bass, even though with these all the way to 0. But let's see if we can hear it. You could hear as I low and raise this frequency curve, it's either there or it's not, right? It just seems like this tempo is too fast for the bass to, as it this releases, for it to come back in. But let's compare that to Curves Resolve now. So similar setup. I've already imported the sidechain of the drums and into the bass, and let's just hear how this works. All I have to do is raise this. And you could clearly hear the pumping and see it working here, right? I'm just going to mess around with the attack and release so you could hear how you can control that pumping here as well. Let's hear that with the drums. Sounds pretty good. With nothing, you hear the bass is just there, right? Or the bass drone. I'm going to turn on Curves Equator again. Let's go back. Oh. Again, no real pumping, right? Let's try it a slower tempo. Let's take this down to 100 BPM and see if it works any better. So here at a slower BPM, you could hear it pumping just a little bit, right? So really, essentially, this attack and release is pretty slow. You hear the pumping, and there's not nearly as much control as Curves Resolve here. Hear that? And you can essentially see as well with this kind of dB scale. This is going all the way to like negative 80 dB, I think, if that is a dB scale actually, as in comparison to Curves Equator, where it just does about a third of that, right, to negative 35 dB. So you can hear a little bit of pumping at this slower tempo, but not nearly as much as Curves Resolve. In this example, I'd like to take a look at a violin that has a bit of harshness within the 2K range. You can see this here. All those overtones kind of being sticking out a bit more than the fundamental notes. So let's just take a look at how Curves Equator does with trying to tame that harshness. And here, basically, I've started already with a bit of an EQ curve. But basically, what you do with Curves Equator is you pick your points that you can draw and simply try to tame that area. So let's listen to the sound. You can see here. So you can see as I pulled down this area, around 2.5K, you'll see the suppression happening here with the blue kind of waves. That's with it. Without it, again with it. So you can hear it taming, especially that second note, right? Listen to it without it. It kind of pops out that scratchiness. That second one with it. You still do hear some for sure, but it takes away a bit of that harshness. So that's with Curves Equator. Let's try Curves Resolve, and we'll try the same similar thing here. Just play it first. So here, I'm just going to take this band down to between 2.5 or 2 and 4K and just pull that down here. And let's see. Something I forgot I actually did beforehand was to narrow the suppression between these two frequencies, 200 or 676 and to almost 3K. Just listen to those first two notes again. Still hear a bit of that harshness and rattle with the second note. Let's hear it with Curves Equator again. Still a bit, but yeah, I like how with Curves Equator you can kind of pinpoint more the exact frequency you're trying to turn down. Once again with Curves Resolve. Yeah, so you can also turn those harsher frequencies down if you can really target it. Again, these bands don't really get as this is basically as narrow as you can get them. I think. Let's see, can you do the same with this? Yeah, so it's only about you can get as narrow as about 1.5 K narrow of a band, but let's hear it again. And once again, Curves Equator. With nothing on. Yeah, so both of these can kind of do the trick, but again, maybe if you're looking to target frequencies that are a bit narrower, in this case, Curves Equator might be your better bet. I'd like to take a look at another example. This is a track where you hear the brass and the vocal just really all up in the same frequency range. Let me play this little clip. Look at me, only going up the future. You can see here, it's all within 200 to what is it, 8-9K. It's all just stepping on each other. Look at me, only going up the future at our feet. So let's try Curves Equator first. And I already again did the side chaining and did the learn curve. So let's just hear how Curves Equator handles this. Look at me, only going up the future at our feet. Only going up to the highest peak. Only going up, take a look. A little bit better, right? Let me play around with because I have this on mid-side mode. I think if I just were to take these frequencies away from the mids, from the mid channel, then at least you hear the vocalist more in the center, and you can kind of use this tool to place the horns around the vocalist. Look at me, only going up the future at our feet. Only going up to the high. You can hear if I place it to the sides, then they'll all be in the center. Look at me, only going up the future at. As soon as I do that, you hear it all kind of clashing there in the center, right? Look at me, only going up the future at our feet. Only going up to the highest peak. Yeah, so as soon as I, take this back to the center, hopefully you can hear the horns kind of clear out of the center and leave room for the vocalist there. So in this case, I think Curves Equator does a pretty good job. Let's try this now with the Curves Resolve. Same kind of concept. Let's start with it off.
Look at me, only going up, the future at our feet.
Stepping at each other again. I'm going to turn on.
Look at me, only going up.
I'm going to slowly turn it up.
Look at me, only going up, the future at our feet. Only going up to the highest peak.
It's almost like you hear the vocalist get louder, right? But it's really just you're turning down all these similar frequencies with the brass.
Look at me, only going up, the future at our feet.
And they have a similar function here with the mid and the side.
Look at me,
If I place it all this side, you'll hear it all clutter up in the middle again.
look at me, only going up, the future at our feet.
All cluttered in the middle again, right? But if I move it back to the suppressing these frequencies of the brass in the mids, in the mid channel.
Look at me, only going up, the future at our feet. Only going up to the highest peak. Only going up.
Here, the brass kind of just starts to clear out the middle and surround the vocalist.
Look at me, only going up, the future at our feet. Only going up to the highest peak. Only going up, take a look at me.
Yeah, so hopefully you hear the difference, and I think both of these actually do a pretty decent job. I hope this comparison of these two tools that Waves has released kind of helps show you the differences. And again, really the most powerful example where you see a clear difference is between when we did the ducking example with the kick and the bass using Curves Resolve. Again, with the attack and release on the using Curves Equator, you just couldn't really control anything as far as the pumping goes with the low end. With the bass, you could clearly hear a difference, right? If I can get it. You can clearly hear a difference. Here's another cool feature with Curves Resolve that you can't do with the Equator is you can change it between again this dynamic or steady function where again you can choose how steady you want those frequencies to be ducked, or you can let it be all the way dynamic or respond to the sidechain, or you can go to this ducking function, which is kind of cool. When you slide it all the way to the right here, where you're unmasking those certain frequencies, you're ducking a narrower frequency band than if you were to go all the way to the left with the wide. There, you just hear it for everything, basically, ducking that bass. So, in my opinion, again, I think Curves Resolve comes out just a little bit ahead. Again, these two tools are supposed to be different. Function differently in that Curves Equators is supposed to be able to use more as a resonant suppressor. But for me, when I first got Curves Equator, when it was first released, I was trying to use it more as like people would use Soothe in trying to duck things away for unmasking, which it's supposed to do. But again, I don't think it does it quite as well as Curves Resolve. So by the time you see this video, it's probably, I'm not sure what the price will be. I got this on sale for free, basically. which I believe most of you probably did as well. If you didn't know it was going for free for the first 48 hours, where were you? If you'd like to know about sales that happen like that, then go ahead and head to musicsoftwaredeals.com. Get on our newsletter, and everyone that gets our newsletter saw that the first 48 hours that this plugin was released, those people received it for free. But if you want to follow along what the intro price is and what it might go up to and all that kind of thing, again, head over to musicsoftwaredeals.com, where you can track over 30,000 different products and tracked across over 30 different stores. And it's really your one-stop shop for being able to find the best price and deal you can get for your software, music software needs. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if this video was helpful to you. And feel free to comment below also what you think in terms of these two different plugins by Waves, the Curves Resolve and the Curves Equator, and what you think you might be, if you had to only use or get one, which one you think you would get.